10 Wild Animals in Portugal Part 2. Portugal is a European country located in the southwestern part of the continent, east to the Atlantic Ocean. It has the westernmost point of mainland Europe, was a particularly important commercial and maritime empire, and used to have one of the largest colonial empires in the world. An interesting part of the country that I wanted to tackle is its wildlife. In light of that, I have listed the best of it, and I hope you will love learning what animals live in Portugal. On place 10, Common Chameleon. The common chameleon, also known as the Mediterranean chameleon, is a species of chameleon native to the coastal areas of the Mediterranean basin, as well as the surrounding areas of the Red Sea. It is the only chameleon that can be found in Europe, in fact, only in southernmost Portugal and Spain. It is threatened by habitat loss, predation by domestic animals, and roadkill. Despite this, it has a large range and a stable population. On place 9, Portuguese Viper. The Portuguese Viper, also known as the Iberian cross adder, the Sion's viper, or the Bascan viper, is a species of viper endemic to the Iberian Peninsula. Despite its name, it can mostly be found in northwestern Spain, and it only inhabits a small area of northernmost Portugal. Not much is known about this snake, but it is presumed to have a large population, a relatively wide distribution, and is unlikely to decline fast, just like many other snakes, which is why it is currently considered of least concern. On place 8, Atlantic Spotted Dolphin. The Atlantic Spotted Dolphin is a species of dolphin native to temperate and warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean, from southern Portugal to southwestern Africa and southeastern South America. The older it gets, the more recognizable it becomes, having more and more spots all over its body. This dolphin is a highly sociable species, and lives in groups of 5 to 15 individuals, often mixed with common bottlenose dolphins. On place 7, European Hedgehog. The European hedgehog, also known as the common hedgehog or the West European hedgehog, is a species of hedgehog native to much of Europe, and as far north as Scandinavia. It lives in a wide range of habitats and is well known by Europeans because it is commonly seen in gardens. This hedgehog is insectivorous and feeds on beetles, slugs, and caterpillars. It has a peculiar and characteristic behavior, constantly hesitating and stopping to smell the air. On place 6, Egyptian Mongoose. The Egyptian mongoose, also known as the ichneumon, is a species of mongoose native to the coastal Mediterranean Sea, as well as much of sub-Saharan Africa. Whether it has been introduced to the Iberian Peninsula or is native to it is unclear. In Portugal, the Egyptian mongoose can be found north of the Douro River to the south of the country. It is threatened by trapping, poaching, and use for rituals, in some countries. On place 5, European Pine Marten. The European Pine Marten, also known as the European Marten, the Pine Marten, the Bong Marten, or the Sweet Marten, is a species of mustelid native to much of Europe. In Portugal, it can be found in the northernmost areas of the country, where it inhabits well-wooded areas. This marten is the only mustelid with semi-retractable claws, which allow it to lead a much more arboreal lifestyle, and is particularly useful to find bird nestlings and eggs. On place 4, Griffin Vulture. The Griffin vulture, also known as the Eurasian griffin, is a large species of Old World vulture. It lives in flocks, and soars over open areas to find the carcasses it feeds on. It lives in undisturbed areas, and nests in colonies on cliffs. There are several hundreds of pairs of griffin vultures in Portugal, mainly living in the northeast. Occasionally, some individuals venture into the southwestern parts of the country. On place 3, European Wildcat. The European wildcat is a small species of wildcat native to much of Europe. It inhabits forests and has gray, striped fur with a black-tipped tail. Usually nocturnal, this felid preys on rodents, small carnivores, and deer fawns in order to survive. One of the main threats to the European wildcat in Portugal is interbreeding with feral cats, which disrupts the species as a whole and threatens its survival. On place 2, European badger. The European badger is a species of mustelid native to almost all of Europe and the Middle East. It has a large, stable population and a very wide range, which is why it is considered of least concern. This badger is one of the least carnivorous members of the order Carnivora, as it feeds on practically anything, and is rather an opportunistic omnivore. Although sometimes heavily hunted, it is not of economic importance. On place 1, common genet. The common genet is a small species of viverrid native to Africa, and introduced to southwestern Europe, including Portugal. It inhabits sub-Saharan, southern, and northwestern Africa, and lives in evergreen and deciduous forests. One very rare melanistic individual was sighted in Portugal in 2019 year. The main threat to this species in Portugal is predator traps, which kill many common genets every year, but habitat loss and urban expansion are also serious threats.